Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
Let me ask you. Help me understand what is stopping you from financially forward thinking. Let's go.
Yeah, wake up, check the bank account. Watch the numbers running out. Ready to go send the check to someone new. Generous is what I do. Walking down the leasing street. Cycle that I just repeat. Money rushing left and right. Gone before the end of night. Don't know the roof, don't know the
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
It's impressively rap, but it's still a trap.
forward thinking, not today. Tendency is get upstate. Generous contributions flow. Helping get investment grow. They gon' turn, they gon' turn, they gon' turn. Wrapped up in a piece so firm. They gon' turn, they gon' turn, they gon' turn. Letting all my money burn. Hold up, pause the beat. You're making that generous monthly contribution. But are you building your legacy? Whether it's your first home or move up.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
Yeah, justify, yeah. Stuck in comfort, stuck in fear. That's why I'm staying here. If the pipe begins to leak, I don't even have to speak. But who pays for it really? But that comfort as a cost. Count the equity I lost. While I sit here paying rent, my future cash is already spent. Some days fat, some days slow. That's just how the tennis go. But if you listen to the sound,
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
contributions flow, helping their investment grow.
Every month you send it. I call it contribution to the future. Every month you send else's future.
Don't perpetuate yourself in tendency. Take the move. Wait.
The elephant in the room. You sit with Karpeh, you're a realtor. We talking Minnesota.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
But first, let me ask you. Help me understand. what
Every
is
month
stopping
you
from
send a check.
financially
You
forward
call it
thinking.
rent.
Let's go.
I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
Watch the numbers running out.
You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
Money rushing left and right. Gone before the end of night.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
sell and invest with confidence. But first, let me ask you.
Help me understand what is stopping you from financially forward thinking. Let's go.
Yeah. Wake up, check the bank account, watch the numbers. Cycle that I just repeat. Money rushing left and right. Go
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it generous contribution to someone else's future.
give it all.
It's impressively rap, but it's still a trap.
Forward thinking, not today. Tendency is here to stay. Generous contributions flow, helping get wrapped up in a piece so firm. They gon' turn, they gon' turn. Legacy, whether it's your first home or move up.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it generous contribution to someone else's future.
Yeah, yeah, justify, yeah. Stuck in comfort, stuck in fear. That's why I'm staying here. Yeah. If the pipe begins to leak, I don't even have to speak. But who pays for a river? While I sit here paying rent, my future cash is already spent. Some days fast, some days slow. That's just how the tenants go. But if you listen to the sound, it's your money. I'm letting it ground call me. Oh,
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it generous
it's a fact, it is.
You call it rent. I call it generous contribution to someone else's future.
It's the future that you lose. Every check that I have sent vanished in the void of red.
Stop the vanishing act.
Yeah. Forward thinking. That's the key to break the chain of tendency. Stop the generous supply. It is time for me to buy. Let's buy.
You send us his future.
Yeah. Don't perpetuate yourself in Tennessee. Take the move. William Karpeh. Helping you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. Pick up the phone, let's change the path. Call or text me. 1651. Or thank you. For living. No. No. Yeah. It's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Shit. Money rushing left and right, gone before the end of night.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it generous contribution to
Shit, William Karpeh, you're a realtor.
The check. You call it rent. I call it generous contribution to someone else's future.
But first, let me ask you. Help me understand what is stopping you from financially forward thinking. Let's go.
Yeah, wake up, check the bank account. Watch the number, generous is what I do. Walking down the street, cycle that I just repeat.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future.
It's impressively rare, but it's still a trap.
Forward thinking, not today. Tendency is get to stay. Generous contributions flow. Helping get investment grow. Legal term, legal term. Wrapped up in a piece of fur. Legal term, legal term. Letting all my money burn. Hold up, pause the beat. You're making that generous monthly contribution. But are you building your legacy? Whether it's your first home, move up.
Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it generous.
That's why I'm staying. Pipe against the lead. I don't even have to speak. But who pays for it really? But that comfort as a cost. Not the equity I lost. I sit here paying rent. My future cash is already some days fat, some days slow. That's how it's. But if you listen to sound,
Every month you send a check. You call it. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future. Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's future. Every month you send a check. You call it rent. I call it a generous contribution to someone else's.
Yeah. Don't perpetuate yourself in Tennessee. Make the move. William Karpeh. Helping you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. Pick up the phone, let's change the path. Call or text me. 1651.
All right. Oh, we have our special guest in studio. Cynthia, can you hear me? Hello? Hello there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you too. Yay!
Yeah, and you see that is one of the reasons I don't like to send you the link before today because it goes missing. You see?
We're here. You want us to do this, or you want to do this tomorrow night?
We could do this today since we are on it now.
I'm happy. We can start it now.
All right, all right. So welcome to what? To the Minnesota Housing Podcast. And today we are what? We are diving deep into the current housing market, a topic that's on many minds, especially for those who are looking to buy their first home. We'll be what? Breaking down the realities of the market, the current market, offering insights and discussing strategies for navigating these challenging times. So let's get started. Thank you very much for coming on our podcast today, Cynthia.
Thank you, William. Good to be here. And I really appreciate the introduction. As everyone should know, William is an expert real estate agent in the industry, and he is a great person to reach out to. He sponsors these podcasts for us to bring information to you so that you can make better buying decisions. And we're seeing right now in the Minnesota housing market that it's challenging for first-time home buyers. They're currently in a situation where there might be 10 or 8 offers all at the same time, and they're just not feeling comfortable in those offers. There's low inventory and higher prices, creates an intense competition, and so they really become disinterested with purchasing. But I have to tell you that we are coming into a season where the first-time buyer is going to succeed greatly in buying a home. If we go on to the next screen, William, I would appreciate that. We get the severe shortage of starter homes. So starter homes used to be somewhere around 100,000 when I started buying homes. Now a starter home is probably 3.25, maybe 285, depending on what community you want to be in. When people call me up and say, "Well, I don't want to buy more than $150,000 house," well, and they say I'm willing to go 30 miles outside of the Twin Cities. It's like, yeah, when you start to go 30 miles outside of the Twin Cities, we see house prices go up because that's a very desirable neighborhood to be in. So we do see a lot of starter homes in the more inner cities, like your St. Paul, the sub-circle around St. Paul. That tends to be under 200, 225. I just had someone buy one this weekend for 235. So there are some of those homes, those starter homes that are in those neighborhoods, and they just need loving care and people who are willing to come in and be part of the community. The prices are rising faster than the income. Our income is not going up as fast as what the house prices are, so it's truly taking two people's income in order to buy a home. Used to be that maybe it was one person's income and a little bit of the other person, but now it is really taking two people to buy a home. You both need to be in income producing situations that are longevity is there, and so that you're going to feel confident when you buy the home that you're going to be successful. And first time buyers are facing the biggest impact because they don't have the extra money to help put down in order to buy the house. The good news is that first-time home buyers only need to have about 3% down, and in Hennepin and Ramsey County, the great news is Old National Bank is gifting 3% up to $10,000 out there, so that's also an awesome situation for your first-time home buyers. And in fact, repeat buyers are also eligible for that down payment assistance. If you'll go on to the next screen, William, we're seeing homes under $400,000 are limited. So the inventory is when you start getting at houses that are 335, 365. We'll go to the next screen if you can, William. The demand exceeds the supply, and the frequent multiple offer situations are really what happens when we have this starter home deficit that's going on. William, can you talk a little bit about your buyers out there and what they're experiencing? I know they go make an offer on a house and they get beat out. And then they go make an offer on a house and they get beat out. And they start to become disinterested. Would you say, William, disinterested with the process? Because they feel like they're never going to end up being a home buyer.
Currently what we are experiencing now is
Oh, I think I can't hear you anymore. I'm sorry. So that's what we're seeing is the home buyers are becoming disinterested. They it's like, well, just maybe we'll rent for another year. And if they start to rent for another year, then they become out of the market. But we are coming in July 4th in Minnesota is when all of a sudden people go, oh my goodness, summer is almost over. I better go enjoy the rest of the summer, right? So a lot of buyers come out of the market about July 4th, and then that opens up the market because all of a sudden the sellers go, wait a minute, what happened to all the buyers that were coming through the house, right? I saw my neighbor next door 2 weeks ago had an open house and had 10 people come. I had an open house this weekend and nobody came. It's the July 4th syndrome that's happening. So know that as a first-time home buyer, July 4th for the next 3 weeks, you're going to see very limited buyers out there, and you should be able to make an offer on a house and hopefully get accepted. It'll be less competition out there during that time. And then right after that, the last week in July, the month of August, through about the middle of September, we'll see a high ratio. A lot of people coming back in because they got to spend, their summer, their July, having vacation time. Now they're back to the daily routines. And so they'll become active in the marketplace. But many people by September 1st will kind of stop buying because their kids are in a school district, or they just need to get their head out of that and get back into doing something else. And that's, again, a perfect time for your first-time home buyers that are buying. We'll see then from September 15th to about January 15th, where first-time home buyers actually are going to get bargains on properties, especially November, December to January 15th. You get bargains on properties. Prices come down a little bit. Sellers start to pay buyers closing costs. So that time is coming. So we need to get you ready so that when it comes, you are able to be one of those buyers. Let's go back into the next one here, record home prices, if you would, please, William. The median income, or the median Minnesota home price is $355,000. In the Twin Cities, it's a little bit higher at $390,000. And the affordability continues to decline because my income isn't going up in relationship to what those home prices are going. Again, that's where it now takes two people in order to buy a house, not one person anymore. We're going to go on to the next screen, which says interest rate impact. So we've had low interest rates, 6.25% interest rate. We've even had a couple of people close at 5.875, 5.75. We're back up to 6.5 to 6.75 interest rates right now. So higher rates reduce your buying power, right? Sellers are staying put, those that have that 3% interest rate, and less inventory is entering the market. Although this has been one stellar year where there's been more inventory that's been in the market so far this year than all of last year. So it's become a good market for buyers to start to shop and look for a home. There's more options that are available out there. We're going to go to the next one, then why it feels so competitive. It's your low demand versus your high demand. So there's a low inventory, but a high demand for that first-time home buyer. Buyers must move quickly. You don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 days in order to choose. You're going to see an open house on Friday, and you must move quickly and be ready to make an offer on it that night. Or sometimes your real estate agents like William know that a home is coming on the market. And if they know the other realtor, even if they don't, they start calling them and saying, well, maybe your seller is willing to sell this house and stop all the foot traffic that's coming through. So yeah, you put the house on the market for $340. If we gave you $340, and my buyers like the house, can you just take it off the market? So that's happening out there, but the buyers must move quickly. You don't have days to make a decision. You have just a few hours to make a decision, and that's hard sometimes too. And then emotional, we become very emotional about a house. It is a business decision, not an emotional decision, but yet it's emotional because my neighbors become my friends. I'm in a neighborhood that I'm going to send my kids to the school district. We're going to play tag, or we're going to play, outdoor games together. I need to have other kids that are like my kids, are like-minded, like my family. So it becomes an emotional decision, but don't let, because you get beat out on the house that you wanted, don't let that become a negative emotion for you. It's see yourself in the home, and you'll get to the home. We're going to move on to the next one, where it talks about solutions in action. So some solutions that help you become a homeowner right now with the type of system that we have is there's down payment assistance programs. Old National Bank has 3% that they gift to the consumer. There's no contracts written, nothing to sign. They are just being given 3% at the closing table up to $10,000. I have one right now who's buying in St. Paul. That particular address is receiving $15,000. So it's a low to moderate income census tract, and it has higher than 50% minority consumers living in the neighborhood. So that one receives a $15,000 grant. There's down payment assistance programs that are available. State of Minnesota still has their $14,000 that's available. That's a loan, but that is down payment assistance. There are grants and forgivable loans. Right now, it looks like the city of Shorewood is about the only one that's still out there that's running. There's a few of them that have come and gone over the last couple of weeks. But those help bridge the affordability gap. And sometimes our parents help bridge the affordability gap. Maybe they can give us $10,000. And that $10,000 is what allows me to buy the house. Or maybe they borrow me the $10,000, but they help also bridge the affordability gap. And you go, well, my parents just can't do that. That's okay. Let's use the down payment assistance program and the state of Minnesota program together, both of those. And both of those together, I have one where they're getting into the house for less than $2,500. So we work really hard to get you into a house for a minimal amount, so that you have money left over in order to buy that lawnmower, to buy the snowblower, buy the snow shovel, buy the rakes, buy the things that you need in the house, and not be house poor. We just want to make this the best possible experience for you whatsoever. As we go on to the next screen, the smart buyer strategies are target market trends. So track market trends. So let's say you want to buy in Northeast Minneapolis. You're going to start to watch just Northeast Minneapolis, but you might find that those houses go in a matter of 24 hours there. So because of that, then you have to watch, you have to watch every day, 5 a.m. to see what's coming on the market to know whether you need to make an offer that day or not, right? You have to be flexible. Right? If it's a fast-paced market and you're picking a really small area, then you have to be fast-paced in order to get on top of that inventory the minute it becomes available. Watch your inventory shifts. Again, you're going to see more homes after July 4th stay on the market for a little bit longer, and that little bit longer makes your seller freak out, which is good for you as the buyer as they freak out, as that inventory shifts to being on the market a little bit longer, and act fast on new listings. Many of my buyers, I tell them at 5 in the morning is when you need to get up and you need to look and see what's new out there. So you've got it listed for the day, and they go, well, I wait for what my realtor sends me. Well, that's good, but by the time you look at that email, that house might be gone. You also need to be proactive in looking for a place to buy along with your realtor. Your realtor is just one of a couple of resources. I have one gal way up north. It's really hard to buy homes up there. And she saw somebody was selling a house on and talked about how they were going to build a house and they were going to sell their house. She reached out to them, and that's how she got a house to buy, was through a Facebook post up in her neighborhood, because there's so few houses up in her area that ever go for sale. And so that's how she was able to make an offer on a house before it even hit the market. So those happen as well. So smart buyer strategy, looking for opportunities all the time. And who knows, maybe talk to your parents. They maybe know somebody that has something for sale in the neighborhood, or oh, Aunt Betty's going to sell her house, let's go see what she's going to do. There's a lot of family buyers out there right now, And that even is helpful because the family then can give you a gift of equity. So you might have your 20% down payment right there, and then you get into the house, and that's where somebody like William will come and play. He'll be a single realtor involved in that transaction for you, and that'll help the seller with their savings as well. The bottom line is on the next screen is it's tough, but it's not impossible, right? You need to educate, create strategy. It brings you success, and you need the right guidance. Where William is very strong in that guidance. He helps you look at homes. He helps you look at neighborhoods. When you go out and look at the house, it's like, oh man, yeah, I can see this, this, and this. I don't know that that would be a good match for you. Or look at this, this, and this. You are a family that likes to, fix things up. This might be a great house for you. So he'll be able to look and see what strengths and weaknesses the house has that correlates to who you are as a buyer. What do you think, William?
Definitely, unarguably.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this has been a quick and short one today, so thank you for listening to the podcast. I'm Cynthia Theisen with Old National Bank Mortgage Lending, and we have opportunities for you to become a home buyer. We have great loan programs that are available. I can help you with your credit to make it get better. I have several people that are in the process right now of bringing their credit scores up. And we're able to get people becoming homeowners that never thought that they could. I have a young woman who actually, middle-aged woman, I apologize, probably mid-40s. Is that considered middle-aged? I don't know anymore. She has never been a homeowner, and she is buying. And then I have another couple that are probably in their late 50s. And they are buying their first home as well. So it's never too late for you to become that homeowner. And again, it's never too early to become that homeowner. I have a 19-year-old young man who recently purchased a home as well. So here's to home ownership. Let's all become homeowners, because then we help build our communities, because we have an ownership in the community. Anything more, William?
Well, I like the point that you say that despite the fact that we are experiencing a very tough market, and as it goes with the territory of Economic 101, where the decrease in inventory sees a spike in prices, it's still possible. I mean, it's still possible to get a home, but until you get out there and you get in touch with Cynthia and myself, you might never know. But affordability of home is still possible.
Affordable. Yes, how easy and affordable it can really be. Don't be afraid. Take a couple of steps and you'll be surprised as to how you can end up being a homeowner.
Definitely. I mean, it's tough out there, but it's not impossible. Education and strategy are paramount to success. And most importantly, they will need what? The right guardians. And this is why we do right. We guide them properly, working with an experienced professional like you and myself. Help them to what? To understand the nuances, of Minnesota housing market. And that's all that makes the difference, right?
It does. It's success over success over success that we see happen, because people take the right steps and become creditworthy, become income stable, and then they go out and they're able to actually beat out the other offers because they're very strong borrowers. Yes.
So that wraps up our deep dive into what Minnesota housing market reality, and we hope this discussion has provided valuable insights for both prospective buyers and those that are simply interested in the market's dynamic. So thank you very much, Cynthia. I mean, we just cannot tell you thank you very much, but we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you, William. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye. And so she's gone now. Okay. I will just go over what she said. Basically, I could not have expressed at the same time that she was talking. But for slide one, let's go back to our slide. Let's go back to our slide since our host is gone now. Our first slide what sets the stage. The Minnesota housing market reality. I mean, it's a challenging market out there. Unarguably, you will agree with me. For those who are currently in the market right now, particularly for first-time home buyers, we are seeing a combination of what low inventory and high prices. As Economic 101 will tell you, when the availability of supply is low and demand is high, unarguably, prices what tends to what to go up. And what happens? This spikes a bidding war, creating an intense competition that drives the prices up. And this isn't just what a local phenomenon. I mean, it's a trend that we are observing as a nation. Okay, but it's what acutely felt here in Minnesota. For those who are in the market in Minnesota, they know specifically what we are talking about. It is acutely seen in Minnesota. And so, for those of you who are perpetuating your sales in tenancy, just making those generous contributions on a monthly basis, may help me understand this 2026. What is stopping you from financially forward thinking? And perpetuating your sales in tenancy, as you do back to back all of the shift that your jobs can afford you. Help me understand. So let's look at what slide two. What does it entails? Moving on to what we are calling what the core problem. There's a severe shortage of starter homes, and prices are what are rising much faster than income levels. At the job, they increase your pay slowly. This disparity means that what first time buyers are facing what the biggest impact. It's tough. It's very, very tough. It's a tough situation when the cost of entry into home ownership what keeps climbing while wages what struggle to keep the pace. But all is not lost. All is not lost. We have your back here. But the first thing you have to do is to reach out to a worthy and credible lender like Cynthia and myself, and we will guide you, navigating you through the intricacies and complexity that would arise within the real estate arena. So let us look at what slide three out there, our third slide, the starter home deficit. This slide what elaborates on homes, the demand for more affordable homes that far exceeds what the supply, as I told you earlier, leading to what frequent multiple offers. There's bidding wars out there. There's competition out there, and this competitive environment can be what disheartening for buyers because we know when we put in one offer and we see that offer being what rejected, buyers get what disheartened as they often find themselves what in a bidding war. Okay? They usually find themselves in a bidding war. But we tell you not to be discouraged. You have to take heart, take courage, because it's possible. Now, let's look at what? Slide 4. This talks about what? Numbers. The medium home price in Minnesota is currently around 355K. In the Twin City, it's even hints that the affordability continues to decline, making it even harder for many to achieve the dream of home ownership. But all is not lost. Once you work with a reputable and credible lender and a real estate strategist like myself, we can make it possible for you. So let's go on to what? Slide 5. What does it talks about? It talks about the interest rate impact, which is another critical factor as shown what in this slide, because what higher interest rates significantly reduce the buying power. And this also has a ripple effect. Sellers are what? Staying put. We know that they are what? They are staying put. which further reduces the inventory entering the market. There are low inventory, and we say the fewer the inventory backed by more demand increases the what? The price of the availability of the commodity, which is whom that we are talking about. And it's a cycle where what higher rates what contributes to what less available home, exacerbating what the supply level. But all is not lost as well. We are real estate strategists. And we can what? We can see you into a home. So what does slide 6 talks about? What it feels so competitive. So why does it feel so competitive? Low supply and high demand, as economic 101 will tell us. This imbalance means what? Buyers must what? Move quickly. Because what they say in the military, delay is dangerous. So buyers must what? Move quickly, and often emotion and what urgency drive decision. It's a fast-paced market where hesitation can mean what? Missing out on what? A potential home. So buyers have to be what? Buyers have to be very, very fast. Let us look at what? Slide 7, solution in action. Because we know what all is not doom and gloom. So solution action offers some hope. Programs like down payment assistance, grants, and forgivable loans are helping to what? To bridge the affordability gap. These initiatives are crucial for making home ownership more accessible, especially for first-time home buyers that might struggle with upfront cash. We have the cash here. We can put you in those homes. We can make the cash available. So here's the smart buyer strategy. Okay, this is what the smart buyers are doing. For those looking to buy, our smart buyer strategy is what? To provide you three key steps. First, what? Track market trends. Regularly stay informed about what's happening in your desired area. Second, watch inventory shifts closely. I'm not mindful of the fact that new listing can go quickly, so being aware of changes is vital. And third, act fast on new listing. In this market, being prepared makes what? All of the difference. You would have to be what? Informed. And this is the key. But here's the bottom line. We have the bottom line strategy here for you, okay? It's tough out there, and we want you to know, but it's not impossible. Education and strategy are paramount to success. And most importantly, you need what? The right guidance. And this is why we are here for. Lender like Cynthia and myself, working with experienced professionals who understand the nuances of Minnesota housing market can make a big difference. I'm not saying some difference, but a big difference. So get in touch with us, okay? So for those of you who are perpetuating your sales in tenancy, just making those generous contributions on a monthly basis, help me understand this 2026. What is stopping you from financially forward thinking?
Far from Bill,
Can you turn this off?
however,
Once it's working with him, what were you like?
yes, he did a good job, and everything went very well, and so he very focused pricing, and I will ask that anyone that wants to buy a house, he will be one of the best realtor to work with. Thank you.
All right, all
All
right. For
right.
those of you who are perpetuating a housing tenancy, just making those generous contributions on a monthly basis, help me understand this 2026. That's stopping you from financially forward thinking. Talk to you soon.
You're oh. The red one.
Yeah?
Hey,
Who brought our bags in?
I can't do that.
For all the do y'all working back?
Yeah. Took it down.
Dinner.
So how was your experience
Me.
Bye-bye. Guys, can I show you something about preaching? I'll just take you to this main stadium. Hold up, we're about to blast the whole stadium right now.
I don't think this is a stadium, but
Ready? So, guys, they grab your presents and something.
hi.
It's not even saying
Okay, we need to put the mic down.
it.
Mwah.
Okay, it's mute. My arms hurt.
Give me the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so
My arms hurt. Okay.
oh wait.
Daddy, say bye.
Thank you very much.
Say bye.
I appreciate it.
Daddy.
You'll see more.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye.